These are 5 high-paying tech jobs that don't require a degree. Now, I'm going to go through these tech jobs. I'm going to rate them 1 through 5 based on how difficult the job is, how much the average pay is, and also what the barrier to entry is for these jobs. Now, a lot of these jobs I'm going to be mentioning in this video, you do not need a college degree. And some of these jobs, you probably won't even need any sort of experience within that career field. So most of these jobs you can probably land as long as you have like a certificate, whether it is from like a, tech boot camp, or whether you get your certificate through Google. So a lot of these jobs are going to be very, very high paying. Most of these jobs are going to be work from home jobs. So at number 1, we have cybersecurity. People in cybersecurity are responsible for making sure companies' data isn't breached by outsiders like hackers. So this means if you work in cybersecurity, you are responsible for identifying online security and making sure to implement security solutions, and company data is not tracked or breached by outsiders. The average pay for a person in cybersecurity is $100,000 a year. Starting salary is about $64 to $70K a year. Now, this can solely depend on what your experience is within cybersecurity. There are 47,000 new jobs for cybersecurity going through the year 2030. So that means there's a huge amount of jobs that will be coming up for people who want to work in cybersecurity. This is mainly due to how many new companies that are being born as we continue to get deeper into the digital age. Now, cybersecurity gets a 3.0 on this rating because of how difficult and time consuming the job can be at times. You'll probably spend long amount of hours in the office trying to read data, decipher codes, and try to make sure that the company database is not being breached. So that can take a lot of time. So the work-life balance can be a bit, draining at times. Most people in cybersecurity are technically savvy and they have a passion for coding and reading data. And if you don't have a passion for coding, reading data, staring at the computer for long hours, this is probably not the job for you. But if you do have a passion for information, deciphering codes, and problem solving, cybersecurity would be a great high-paying tech job for you. Now, the next one, we have software development. Now, software developers are some of the most in-need job positions. Software developers design applications. Other software developers design operating systems and interfaces as well. Now, the average pay for a software developer is within the range of $64,000 a year. Now, this also depends on your experience within developing apps, while the highest pay is $300,000, mainly because of how lucrative this position can be. Most people end up starting their own companies in software development, creating their own apps. And if your app becomes successful, you can make a ton of money. But some of the higher senior level software developers get paid within the $300,000 range or more, just depending on what the job is asking for. Software development jobs are in great demand as mobile apps and other software apps continue to grow. So this job is going to continue to grow, and there's going to be a lot of positions opening up for software development. The number of software development jobs through 2030 is about 400,000 jobs through 2030. Now, that is a very, very high rating, which means software development is going to be that go-to tech job in the future. I think it has one of the highest ratings for the amount of positions that are going to be open. So 400,000 jobs opening through the year of 2030 is a really, really high number. And for those who are looking to get into software development, that would be perfect for you. Now, software development receives a rating of 3.5, mainly because how difficult it can be to kind of develop apps. If you consistently do it and you get better at it, it gets a lot easier, but it can be difficult at times trying to develop software and trying to develop different apps. There are many technical terms you have to understand and kind of get familiar with before you can actually become great at developing software. So that can be difficult as well through your journey of becoming a software developer. But with that being said, as we continue to get deeper into the digital era, software developers are going to have the most security within their jobs because this career field continues to grow as more companies are becoming more digital. There will be a good amount of job openings every year for software developers. Now, the next one, we have UI UX design. So UI UX designers are basically in charge of, building websites or building apps for different companies. So this can be the back end, so developing like the colors and what the website would look like. And this also can be the front end, so also what the buttons would look like on a website or on a software application. Entry level pay for a UI UX designer can be starting at $55,000 a year. Now this also does really depend on your experience and how much experience you have, as a UI UX designer. Some of the higher senior level positions pay within $130,000 a year. And sometimes it doesn't take that long to get to the higher positions because UI UX design is mostly dependent on how you see the website. So if you are a person who has experience in seeing things and developing things and putting things together, you will be able to advance in UI UX design to get paid within the higher ends of $100,000. Now, the number of new jobs for UI UX design going through 2030 is 25,000 jobs going through 2030. Now, this may not be the highest number, but mainly because a lot of these jobs like UI UX design can be done by other people like software developers. So it doesn't have the highest openings because it's not a high demand for UI UX designers. The rating for UI UX design is a 3.5 because you don't really need a ton of experience in order to get into UI UX design. Like I mentioned earlier, the barrier to entry is not that high either. And the pay is also really great, starting at $55,000, and you can slowly progress to making almost $100,000 a year within UI UX design. Now, the next one we have tech sales or business development representative. They're basically responsible for selling software products to different companies. So let's say, for example, a company is looking for a software to better their company. So somebody in tech sales will basically reach out to that company and basically sell their services to that company. So they basically do B2B, meaning business to business sales. So you're selling your software to different businesses. This type of work includes knowing the product or service that you are selling. So if you come from a sales background, this job would be a perfect fit for you because you would basically be selling digital software products to different companies. So the transition into tech sales or business development would really be a smooth transition for somebody who has experience in sales. Starting pay for tech sales or business development reps is $60,000 depending on your experience. Some of the highest earners make about $80,000 or even within the six figures range. Now with tech sales and business development, this is a sales job. So meaning a lot of these people are making commission. So on top of that yearly salary, if you're making $80,000 or $100,000 a year, you're also making commission and bonuses on top of your earnings. So some people in tech sales, they don't really have a limit. They don't really have a cap on their pay because you can exceed your goals based on how many sales you can make within 1 year. I've heard a lot of people in tech sales making anywhere to $200,000, $300,000, or even $500,000 within 1 year because of how much products they were able to sell within that year. So this is probably one of the most higher paying jobs because it is commission based and there's not a limit to how much product or services that you can sell being in tech sales or being a business development rep. Now, the business development rep has the least barrier to entry because if you have any sort of skills in sales, or even if you don't have skills in sales and you go to a tech boot camp like Course Careers or take an online boot camp to learn how to become a tech salesperson, you will be able to land a job. And as long as you can showcase your technicality and show companies that you are able to sell products or you have experience in selling products and that you're good at it, a lot of these jobs are not harsh with hiring people who have a sales background. So this position probably has the least barrier to entry. There is a projected 1.8 million job openings every year for people who are in tech sales or business development. Like I said, this is a sales job and there is a high demand because sales basically rules the world and there's sales that goes on every single day and companies will always need people to sell their products, to sell their services to other people. So 1.8 million jobs is huge. Very, very huge. So if you're looking for a huge job security, tech sales or business development will probably be the best fit for you. So tech sales receives a 5.0 rating, mainly depending on how high the pay can be because you will be getting paid commission. And also it has the least barrier to entry. So anybody who has any sales background, or even if you don't have a sales background, you'll be able to get into tech sales and become a business development rep. So it has the least barrier to entry level. And also tech sales is easy to learn. I also took a tech sales boot camp, and I was able to graduate and get a certificate in tech sales in less than a month. So it's really, really easy to learn. Some of the tech terminology is really, really easy. It's one of those jobs where it's not really that hard to learn, but also the pay can be really high because you're in a sales position. And on top of that, you're getting paid your salary. So business sales is the best of both worlds. I would definitely recommend this. One of the top paying positions within these tech jobs that I'm recommending to everyone. Last but not least, we have information technology. Now, information technology career field usually focuses on creating computer systems, networks, or finding software errors within a database or different troubleshooting methods. Now, many of these jobs can include safeguarding data information, creating online databases, or helping companies troubleshoot problems with their computer or mobile apps. The starting salary for a person in information technology is close to $55,000 a year. Now, this is the entry level pay for somebody in information technology. The highest salary can be $164,000. So this is somebody who has a lot of experience in IT, and this is one of the highest paying positions if you become an IT manager. So $164,000 or even greater, depending on what company that you're working for. The number of job openings for information technology through 2030 is 52,000, with numbers increasing as more companies are in need of protection for their databases. Now, information technology may have a complex terminology, but most of these positions mainly require communication and being able to understand data and being able to break down data. Information technology doesn't really have a high barrier to entry level because most of it is being able to understand data, break down data, and kind of troubleshoot problems within a database. Information technology receives an overall rating of 4.5, mainly because this career field is perfect for anyone who is detail oriented and loves problem solving. The pay is very high for information technology. There's an opportunity to grow if you are able to put in the work. So these are the top 5 high paying tech jobs that I recommended. And a lot of these jobs, you don't even need a college degree. All you need is to get a certificate and a tech boot camp. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.